The Dentalpreneur Podcast. Okay, doctor, it's time to put down that handpiece. You're listening to the show dedicated to helping dentists get their lives back. It's time to decrease your stress, increase your profitability, and regain your passion. Now introducing your host, Dr. Mark Costas.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Dentalpreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Mark Costas. How you doing, my friends? We are still here at Thrive Live in the Exhibitors Hall, 2026 Thrive Live. Oh, man, it's been a really fun show. This is, I think, 15 podcasts for me so far in the last couple days.
Wow.
Met lots of really, really great people, and my guests on the podcast have been top-notch. And there's another one coming up right now. Let's welcome to the podcast, Ralf Tomandl, who's the COO of HR for Health. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. You got to tell me a little bit about your backstory and how it is that you got into the dental realm and how you got into the HR realm.
Yeah. So I am what you would call a lifer in dental. I kind of accidentally stumbled into it. Started my first job really here with a company called 1-800-DENTIST.
Oh, yeah.
Like 25, almost 30 years
ago.
ago.
Who was the founder again?
Fred Joyle.
Yes, Fred's been on my podcast before.
Yeah. A great friend of mine and a longtime mentor. So worked for 800-DENTIST for a while, and then had the luck and good fortune to work for several startups and other businesses in the dental industry, mainly in tech. Okay. Allowing both businesses and or products to be brought to market by me. So have been working with dentists for a long time. And the last time 1-800-DENTIST was sold was actually to Sirona, and I was part of that transition.
I did not know that. I didn't know Sirona bought it.
So Sirona originally bought them, and then they merged with Dentsply, so it was Dentsply Sirona, and then I was there for like 2 or 3 more years, and then transitioned out to a new challenge, which is HR for Health. And Ali and Ali Aramchin is the founder of HR for Health, is an amazing lawyer who also has a eye for what's important in the dental industry, i.e. keeping these doctors. Am I too far away?
Yeah.
Better?
You're good. Yeah.
All right.
Good.
So he created a product around compliance for dental practices and a software solution that is super easy, super user-friendly. And 7 years ago, 2019, Lordy, 7 years ago, his company had grown to a level where he was like, look, we need to professionalize and manage this at a level that is allowing us to grow bigger, faster, and more. And so that's when I started with him. So that's my like high level, quick story about dental.
How'd you meet Ollie?
At one of these conferences.
Really?
Yeah. It was one of those. And,
that's crazy.
And he is an idea man, so he probably like dumped 25 ideas in the first half an hour that I met him.
Yeah.
And so we had dinner together, and then we had like other things in common, and so we had known each other for years prior. And then when the time was right, like we started talking in earnest about how can we make this a real impact for the dental industry, and here I am.
Amazing. Yeah, it's funny because HR is one of those things that I think people take for granted. You know, I'm going to look online and do my own handbook, and people get themselves into some trouble when they try to do it yourself. There's so many things that could go wrong if you're doing a do-it-yourself HR manual.
For sure. And look, I think yes. For granted, yes, and or it is not being taken serious.
Right.
And I look at it from, obviously compliance and all these other issues are very important, but really what it comes down to is we're in healthcare at 100% employment, i.e. the market is very much in favor of the employee, so they can jump from place to place to place. I think it is absolutely vital for every dentist to have a place where they can offer a full benefit strong position that allows their people to not just get paid and then hope for the best, but have a full setup that allows them to have what we call a career arch, right? And so yes, compliance is important, but it's also important to take care of your employees, because if you have happy employees, guess what? They stay. And so that is a core function of what we're trying to achieve with HR for Health as well.
Got it. Can you tell me a little bit about, I guess, the nuances from state to state?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, we're in 50 states, and there's probably 50 different major differences amongst states. So,
yeah.
And that's the problem, again, with this attempted do-it-yourself stuff.
Right.
California, we all know, is way different than Iowa.
Right.
So talk to us about that.
Yeah. So I think one of the easiest ways to look at this or understand it is that every employee, when they're being onboarded, should start with being introduced to what the company wants from them and vice versa, i.e. they need a handbook, and that handbook should be updated on a regular basis, not just for what you want out of the employee, i.e. what time do you start, how much are you going to get paid, et cetera, but also have an updated handbook for all the laws that are changing, and that is very different in California than, for example, in Georgia. Okay. Right. Step 2 is that you bring on a new employee, you have employee documents. In California, you need over 22 documents, 24, I think, exactly, to onboard an employee. 24 that have to be signed and have to be filed and have to be updated.
That's crazy.
In Georgia, it's 9, right? And so when you ask a dentist, they probably can name 2, if we're lucky 3, right? Like, which is like the standard answer. So those are the nuances that get dental practices or doctors in trouble. And that's where it starts, right? Like, never mind, like, for example, how do you sign up your employees? Are they W-2, or is your hygienist insisting on being a 1099? Well, since COVID, I think we've all learned that lesson, that hygienists need to be declared properly as a W-2 employee, not a 1099. Like, so those are the easy pitfalls that a lot of doctors jump into or fall into, that need to be taken care of.
Tell me about, would you consider yourself a technology company?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, talk to us about the software and the technology behind human resources.
Yeah, so the idea for a dentist is we want you to have time to spend with patients, time on your clinical excellence. And the idea for the software is for it to be set properly and then set it and forget it, right? Like, it runs automatically behind the scenes. Okay. So let me give you 2 or 3 examples. Example number 1, your time clock, right? Like, your employees need to punch in and out. That needs to be managed or needs to be smooth behind the scenes so people get paid properly, and you don't have to sit there manually filling out spreadsheets of when people are getting paid. Well, the derivative of a time clock is you have a rule of how much or how many hours of PTO or vacation time they accrue, right? So that's math. That's what a software needs to do and can do automatically.
I see.
Right. The next part is if you have, let's say, a larger practice with 5 doctors or other people that are all either certified or have need to track CE credits, or their licenses need to be managed. So we track that behind the scenes and remind them, look, it's time for you to renew your license, et cetera, et cetera.
That's cool. Yeah.
So those are all things that you should never ever have to do manually and or on paper, right? Like, it needs to be done digitally, and that's what our solution provides behind the scenes.
Yeah. With all the nuances of human resources, especially, I mean, we're already talking about state to state, the common nuances, but as mom and pop shops, small businesses can't afford a director of HR in their practice. Does HR for Health have the ability to help people if there's a one-off issue that they're experiencing in their practice? Like, for instance, this is probably one of the most common ones that we see in dentistry, but for instance, there's a team member that's underperforming and you're just about to let them go, and the day that you're about to let them go, they say that they're pregnant, so you can't touch that now. So is there a way to get ongoing advice in lieu of just
making the mistake of firing them poorly or improper? Yes. So as much as we are a technology company, this is where Ali's being a founder, being a thinker outside the box is really beneficial, right? Like, so we provide a HR service that comes with our program that allows you to call us, frankly, anytime and get advice. And it is for the owners, right? Like for you to be educated and or understand what you cannot do, what you should do, how you should do it, how you should say it, how you should document it, when do you document, et cetera, in order to not fall into that trap of it is now too late. I want to, fire this person and you have zero documentation. So yes, so we have that available. It is also the one of the areas where we are the most advanced on AI. So obviously we have humans that answer the phone from 9 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday. But if you happen to have a call or a need for information on a Saturday at 10 p.m., you can also call us and or contact us. And we have an AI support system called Harvey, HRV, that allows for you to get answers, right? So you can ask it anything, and it will give you answers as well.
Got it. Is there some blanket advice that you could give business owners that don't have an HR background on certain things they can do to protect themselves from HR issues internally?
Yeah. So I think that the easiest the place to start with for me would be to have an understanding of how you set up your employees, right? Like you want to make sure that you properly set them up for a W-2 and not a 1099.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And number two, that is like a close second in my mind is the idea of how you track how people are being paid.
Okay.
Like don't make them salaried employees if they're not truly management, right? Like they're hourly employees because the laws around that are very clear to pay overtime, et cetera, et cetera. So that calculation is the number one reason why healthcare practices are getting sued. Right? Like the wage and hour claim is a much higher claim than you being sued for malpractice, for example.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you have malpractice insurance. You don't have wage and hour claim insurance, right? Like it's insurances will not allow that because it's too common. Yeah, so that would be my starting point, right?
Yeah, you've mentioned 1099ers twice, and this is kind of a hot topic in dentistry because a lot of associate dentists want to be classified as 1099s and hygienists too. What truly does qualify for a 1099, and what's the benefit? Why are people trying to qualify themselves as a 1099 when if the IRS was looking at it, they'd probably be classified as a W-2?
Right. So the background is that a hygienist. Let's start with the hygienist. The hygienist is typically an employee of a practice, the way it is defined, usually by state law, right? And the idea behind that is that if their functions are repetitive and or in a way built out where another hygienist can do that, then they are not unique in that setup. When you have i.e. they're a W-2 employee, they're not in a management position, and with that, they have a very basic understanding they need to be paid on a per hourly rate, et cetera, which comes with both benefits for the employee, but also where they think they have a benefit is by the taxes not being withheld and or Social Security, et cetera, all these other withholdings, right? And what we found a lot of doctors did across the country, and how this actually surfaced was during COVID when all the dental practices had to shut down, and then these 1099 employees wanted to get unemployment. Obviously, they are not paying into unemployment. They weren't eligible, right? So not only did they not get the unemployment payment, but they went then after the doctor saying, look, you're misclassifying your employees.
Got it.
On the associate doctor, look, there are exceptions to the rule, as there always is. Like there are certain agreements that you can have and how you work with your associates, where you absolutely can have them set up as a 1099, but you then need a properly written agreement between the owner of the business and the associate doctor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
But if they are in a general, if you look, it's common sense mainly, right? Like if you bring somebody in, you pay them a regular salary, they're not in a management position, they're a W-2 employee. That's just what it is.
That's right.
It's just that's what the court has decided. So
got it.
Yeah.
Got it. More and more people are counting on remote employees.
Yeah.
And then there are certain rules. I've heard some stories of remote employees in California, say for instance, that brought suit against their place of work because they weren't quote unquote granted a 15-minute break or something when they were at their own home.
Yeah.
How do we guard against silly things like that?
So the silly things is what our software prevents you or protects you from, right? Like, so there are, that's the basic function of software, right? Like, it needs to remind the employee and or very clearly states it's time for you to take your lunch break. It is time for your regular break. Now, the nuance on a meal break, like a lunch break, a half-hour break that you have to take where you clock out and clock in, that's by law required for you to do. You as an employee do not have to take the 15-minute break, but you as an employer have to offer it and say it is time for you or you should take it.
Okay.
If the employee goes like, I don't want to take it, that's fine.
That's
right.
Yeah.
But our software reminds them and or proves that it was offered to them.
Yeah, that's
yeah. And those are the nuances that get you, right? Again, wage and hour claim. That's all under that umbrella.
That is really, really cool. Okay, so there's many other things, but one of the things that I wanted to ask you specifically was about when there is a performance issue or something like that, or there is a counseling session to try to, or an action plan put in place to try to improve performance or output.
Yeah.
Is it important to always document that in all states or only in some states?
Always in all states. The better the documentation, the better the case will be, right?
Okay.
So let me give you like two sides of this.
Sure.
The one side is the legal protection, right? Like, you want to protect yourself. You want to communicate in writing and acknowledge that this is occurring. What for me as a leader of an organization is much more important is the effective communication with the employee to tell them what their goals are and how they can achieve those goals are, in my opinion, much more important than to come in after the fact when it has been poorly communicated to them and they are underperforming.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I think that is part of a happy employment or a happy employee, to be sure and show them it's like, there's two sides to this, right? Here's your benefit. Here's your responsibility. Here's how you need to do this, right? Like, getting to the point where you have to write somebody up, in my mind, is too late. But you should start with, hey, these are your goals. This is how you can meet them. And then let us help you get there. Right? Like, that's the idea.
For sure. How prevalent are lawsuits in the workforce nowadays? Is it better, worse, about the same?
I would say it's about the same. Look, you cannot be inoculated against someone suing you.
Yeah.
So it's about the same. But like, there's no, I have not seen a landslide of more or less. But it's silly for you to not have the level of protection you need when it's so easy to get, right? And so that is really where this comes in.
Yeah.
Sure. And so, but no, it's the same.
Yeah.
This employee will sue you when they feel wronged.
Yeah, I think I don't know what the percentage is, but it's happened to me, and it didn't feel good. Especially when you think you're doing everything right, but there are some very, very basic things that I think, especially with this type of technology, that could protect you against a long day.
Absolutely. Look, and I think that the other thing to come back to and or to your example from earlier, right? A lot of doctors think they're doing something good. For example, when they give gift cards or they hand out other forms of bonuses that are not properly guided through what the real rules are, right? And so if you don't do this uniformly for other people or for all your employees, right, like, that can be a problem. If you just do it randomly and don't have a place of how people get a bonus or a gift card or whatever it is, and then they don't get it the second time, then they don't understand. So those are all the nuances of the little things that you need to have buttoned up. And it sounds silly, but you never know when you walk in, when someone walks in the door and really cares about this and then feels wronged, and you're like, no, but I'm trying to do something good for you, right? And they're like, no, I don't see it that way.
Yeah. No good deed goes unpunished.
That's true. That's true.
Well, Ralf, what's the best way for people to reach out and learn more about HR for Health if they need help with a handbook or they need some support with HR in general?
Yeah. So the easiest way to get a hold of us is go to hrforhealth.com, and there's a plethora of information for our services, educational material, and you can also request a demo from us to get walk through all the details of what we offer.
How important is it for people that are not supported right now to get supported in terms of HR?
Do it today, do it now.
Yeah.
It can be, look, it's one of those, you don't drive a car without insurance, you don't drive a car without a driver's license, right? Like, why do you run a business? Why do you go to school for 20 odd years and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in education, hundreds of thousands of dollars of opening a practice, and then not do the very basics to protect your time, love, and investment in that?
Yeah.
It's just, it's a minimum, it's table stakes, right?
Yep.
So do it, get it right, get it done.
Good stuff. That's a great natural place to stop. I appreciate you, Ralf.
Thank you, Mark.
Have a great day. Good to meet you. And we will continue to push people towards your service. It's a great service.
Thanks, man.
Ollie's a great guy.
Yeah, thank you. I agree.
Talk to you soon.
Okay,
all right,
bye.
ladies and gentlemen, Ralf Tomandl.